رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, inshallah, we're going to go through the last four letters that we have, which are Noon, Ha, Waw, and Ya. For the letter Noon, we're going to use, again, just the tip or the front part of the tip of our tongue and touch it at the back of at the top two incisors. So the Noon is indicated by this arrow. I'm going to use the tip of my tongue and place it right at the meeting point of the teeth and the gum line. So before we've seen the letter Da, and Da is just behind the meeting line. So here we're going to go right onto the meeting line of the gums and the teeth. And we're going to say Noon, Noon. And again, the name of the letter is Noon. But once we place the vowels, it will become Noon, will become Na. The letter Ha, it comes from the same place as our first letter that we looked at, which is the Hamza letter. The Hamza letter, which is placed on top of an alif and becomes or is known as Hamzatul Qata. It is pronounced as alif. Okay, Hamzatul Qata is like as a name, and it's pronounced as and that comes from the further part of our throat. We mentioned that it is known as Aqsa al-Halq, and in the same place comes the letter Ha, He, Ho, Ha, Ha. So further part, so allow the air to flow out through your throat. Make sure the letter is coming from the bottom part of the throat. So Ha, He, Ho. And it's not confused with the Ha, which comes from the middle of the throat. Now, remember when we talked about the middle throat letter Ha, we said it's just like steaming the back car windows on a rainy day. When you start to steam, you say, you want to create a vapor, a steam, and you start breathing out and you say, and if you add a slight smile, you will get a perfect Ha. Ha. That's in the middle. Ha, he, who. Here, I'm going to say ha, he, who. You should be able to hear the difference between the two has because they come from different positions of the throat. The further part of the ha, which is in the further part of the throat, it is easier to flow out. So ha, he, who. And I should be able to hear a sound coming closer from my uh, throat, closer to my chest. Then I'm going to move to the middle of my throat and I'm going to add a slight smile and some breath into or some air into the letter. So once I add the air, that will become like a different type of ha. So ha, he, or you should be able to hear some air, some breath with that letter. And there isn't any other moment with this letter, but yes, once you stop on this letter, there will be some breath that you will have to let out. But again, we will go through that once we go in advanced sessions. The letter Wow, and I said the Wow is one of it is a shape that could be probably most close. It's not exactly the same, but could be. It's very similar and tends to get confused by some people as the vowel Dhamma, which is the oo, which produces the oo sound, and we saw that in the last session. This, however, is a letter called wow. Now, the way I say it to people is like saying wow in English. Wow, that's amazing. Wow. It's not wow. Don't make it stronger and don't make it deeper. It's not wow. It's wow. 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 It's not wow. Wow. You know, some people make it too strong. You say this letter by circling your lips and forming a sort of an O shape. You do leave some sort of opening in that. So don't close your lips together. Don't tighten it. Just keep that small opening for the air to come out. So where we woo. Wow. The name of the letter is wow. Wow. And so I've written it here, wow. And when we put the vowels on, like the E and the O sounds, then we'll know how it sounds. Our last letter of the Arabic alphabet is yeah. It comes from the same sort of articulation area as the G and the Sheen. So remember in the G, our middle part of the tongue is directly touching the roof of the mouth and there's no space between the two. For the letter Sheen, we saw there was some space between the roof of the mouth and the middle part of the tongue. Now for the Ya, the space has increased. There's further more part or more opening and more space between the letter Ya and the roof of the mouth. So I'm going to say yeah, yeah. Again, if you say this letter, you will feel the middle part of your tongue raising up slightly, but not as much as when you said sheen, sheen, sheen. It raises up more for yeah, yeah. It almost like slightly lifts up and comes back down. And for the G, we know that it sticks directly to the roof of the mouth. Again, these letters are soft and we will go through what they are when we are doing the voweling or what they sound like, what the phonics or phonetically how they sound. That comes or brings us to the end of our pronunciation. We inshallah will go now towards the writing part of these letters. So our letter Noon we're going to go through is arrow number one to take the line down, make a little cup here or bring it round, not like a boat, and then bring it back up. So it's a semicircle. And then I'm going to put a dot in the middle, and that's Noon. So again, arrow number one, I'm going to take my line down, not a straight line really, but just curve, and then that's a bit too straight, but there, and then put a dot in the middle. So let's try again. Bring it down, curve it around, up again, and then that's the dot. That is Noon, the letter Noon. Now this letter is a bit of a difficult one to do, so I'm going to try and go through it slowly. We'll talk about the numbers first. So you have number one, so I'm going to do this number one. Then I'm going to do number two. Then I'm going to come back and join point number three with point number four. As I come back, I'll bring my pen back and then I'm going to do a line in between this little slanted loop that I've created. And then I'm going to bring my pen through it to create these two eyes, two circles. And then I'm going to bring the line out for number five. So let's try that. So what we do is we start at the beginning. So we do this, we bring our line down, our pencil down, and we bring it back up. I'm going to now bring it back in, and then I'm going to take and create a division in the loop that I've just created, and then I'm going to make a line outside like a tail. So it's a little bit more slanted. So let's see if we could do it right at this time in the slant. There we go. That's better. So if I show you here, so I'll bring the pen down to the line. I take it back up. So because it's a loop, I bring my pen in the middle to create a division and then I'll take it down. And that should be slightly more in the middle. So if I just do this, okay. It should be straighter, but that's the idea. So bringing it halfway down the line, in between the two lines, I just drew a loop here. I'll take it to the line. I bring it back up and I join, and then I bring my pencil back in the middle, and then I create like a division, and then there. Okay, so just bear with me. I'm just going to do that again. So it will be, and then bring it across. There we go. So that's not joining. It should join, by the way. So here, here, join to that, and then bring it back down. It's difficult to do it on here, simply because obviously we are using annotation. However, that is the idea. So just follow that and hopefully it will be easier to do. Now the letter wow is quite easy. So I'm going to use point number one, make a circle, join it, and then bring it down. So if I start from here, just close to the line, if it's obviously, as I said, it should be lined paper. So you're, practicing how to write on line paper. So bring it back down and then around. So create my loop, create the loop here, like a circle, and then bring it round. So that hopefully makes our wow. Wow. So we've done ha and wow. Ha, wow. Remember, we said ha is from the further part of our throat. Wow comes from the lips. Our last letter is yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have to keep it light. So we're going to make like a little, it's almost like an S. So I'm going to make an S and then I'm going to bring it around and then back up. So I'll show you here, be easier. So I'll bring it around like a curve, like a number five or an S, and then bring that around and then do the two dots. Now it looks like a five because the line is straight rather than curved. It should really be curved. So it looks more like an S, not a five. And then do the two dots. Okay. So let's see if we could do a straighter one. Bit better, but it's difficult as you know for the. So really, you start at the middle, you bring it like that, and then there you go. That's much better. And then the two dots at the bottom for the letter yeah. Again, soft letter, do not make it heavy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We don't have that many heavy letters. We will go through which ones are heavy and which ones are light through the course, inshallah. But please keep practicing. That is the last letter that we're going to learn how to write today. And we're going to move on with the other parts of this course. Please keep watching. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.